guys? Thanks for tuning into the channel. Today's chat is brought to you by On Story Parkway and Talk to Me, both available on Amazon. I grew up watching Jim Paschke when he was on the sports department at Channel 6 in Milwaukee. I didn't know what a nice guy he was until recently. He recently retired from the Milwaukee Bucks, got there for a championship, and he's one of the good guys.
I'm from Minnesota, but once I got to Milwaukee, I knew this, after a very short time, I knew this would be home. And I still feel that way. I love it here. I love the people here. I love the situation. I love the whole thing. And so I think it's just a special place. And as far as longevity, I think I think we see it in other cities and other markets, but I don't know if we see it to the extent we see it here. You can have 4 or 5 people at a time who have been here for 20, 30, 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
And while I'm thinking about it, Tony Migliaccio, the great
He's really good friends with John Adam.
clubhouse, he runs the clubhouse for the Brewers and has for many, many years. And he's a very close friend, was a very close friend of Bob Uecker. They were always together.
He used to do the commercials together. Yeah.
Yeah. You talk about longevity. I happened to be at Davy Nelson's memorial at the ballpark, and Bob and Tony walk in, and I'm sure it was at Bob's prompting, but Tony walks in and said, "Hey, Bob, the flash in the pan's here." I've been in the market for 40
Tony's that quick to come up with that, or Bob said that?
Tony said it, but I'm thinking, okay, Tony, that's pretty good if you did it, but I wonder. But I laughed at that, and I still laugh at
That's funny.
They called me the flash in the pan.
Oh, that's clever. Was Harmon Killebrew on that squad?
Harmon Killebrew was my childhood idol.
My first mitt was Harmon Killebrew.
Yeah. He was just a wonderful human being. So I'm walking home from school one day, and one of the neighbor kids, a little older than me, said, "Jim, can you work as an usher for Game 6 of the World Series?" And I said, "Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I can." I was 2 years underage, but in October they couldn't find people to work. So my first day earning a paycheck was Game 6 of the World Series. My second day was Game 7. I worked the third level, Section 7 and 9. Mr. Horn was my supervisor. I remember everything about it. I walked in and I thought, boy, this is amazing. So for me, I'm not a guy who remembers every score. I remember a lot of them, but I remember the spectacle. I was drawn to the spectacle of sport. And I have a book sitting right below me here. It was the first book my parents ever bought me. It was a Sports Illustrated coffee table book entitled The Spectacle of Sport.
Oh, my goodness.
This was in the 50s, and it has pictures of all of the sports all around the world. And I have kept that near me my entire life since I got it. And that's sort of how I've always looked at the world of sports. Is I'm drawn to the spectacle of sport.
Elaborate on that a little bit, because I take that as, like I do. I love the intangibles. I used to leave a game at the 6th inning because, frankly, I don't like crowds, and I was bored by that point. I like the BP and I like being on that field. But what do you mean by spectacle?
Well, when you walk into Game 6 of a World Series in 1965, you feel the aura of the event. Everybody was dressed in suits.
Right.
And it was a different time, but it was, you could feel the energy and you feel the excitement. That's what I think is a spectacle. Big events are spectacles to me. I've been to World Series. I haven't called World Series. I've been to World Series. NBA Finals games, all of that. I always felt like every time I did a baseball game, a Brewer game, or a Bucks game, that I was watching a spectacle, because I believe, and I know this to be true in my case, anytime you go to a sporting event, you can see something that you've never seen before. Could happen.
You will.
Often does. And you can also see something that has never happened before. Anywhere, anytime.
Have you seen a triple play?
I have seen a triple play. I've seen a triple play at the Class A level, one of the stranger triple plays with the Beloit Brewers when I called those games for a summer.